Amen. Welcome, welcome, welcome to today's call, the power of change, the power of change, the power of change. And yes, we say amen. For those of you in agreement, go ahead and type amen in the chat. Who receives their change today? And you know, when I was looking at what I was going to talk about today, and yes, we do have those special announcements coming. I was thinking about, you know, the next season, and you guys know I'm a planner when it comes to strategy and, you know, really strategizing for the next season. I'm telling you, you know, the only way that I can describe this is through personal testimony. And I don't know if anybody can resonate with this, but there was a time where I didn't really know my self-worth. I didn't really know the power on the inside of me, and I was ignorant to change. I didn't want to change. I didn't want to change at all because I was in my comfort zone. And I'm not just talking about business, I'm talking about my personal life. I'm talking about areas of my life where I knew needed to change. But to be honest, I was scared. I was scared to change because I was comfortable with the environment that I knew. And the unknown frightened me. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The unknown was scary. And so I had that thing where it's better to settle for what I know and to deal with it in the way that I can figure it out. But really and truly, I know in my heart, I desire more. I know in my heart that I want more. But I'm gonna just settle in this place because I don't really know if I deserve more. I don't really know if there's more coming for me. And I don't want to give up the not so good for nothing at all. I'd rather have not so good than nothing at all. Has anybody been in that place where you settled? You know it wasn't what you wanted, but you just, you didn't dare want to risk having nothing at all. And so you clung on to the bare bones, the dry bones, the dead bones of something that didn't serve you at all. But it was the comfort zone. It was just what you were used to. You'd been around it for so long that you decided to just stick it out and hold it out, even though it hurt you, even though it damaged you, even though it destroyed parts of your confidence and destroyed parts of your creativity. It destroyed parts of who you were. You just couldn't let it go, and you couldn't tell anybody, because if you told anybody, then they judge you and you don't know who to trust. And then it's a cycle because you're talking to yourself and you can't heal yourself, because if you knew the answers, you wouldn't be in the situation that you're in. But here you are advising yourself, not being fully qualified on advising yourself, but you don't know where to turn. And that was me. That was me 7, 8 years ago. That was me maybe 6 years ago. Clueless, hopeless, in relationships that didn't serve me, in environments that didn't serve me, friendships that just didn't serve me at all, but desperate to have something rather than nothing, and too scared to leave the something in case nothing happened. And I got into a cycle where that started to leak in other areas of my life. And how many of you have heard me say, how you do anything is how you do everything? And so, as simple as it could be, but there was areas of my life that I just couldn't let go. I began to hoard things of the past, photos, pictures, videos, physical documentation, clothes that didn't fit, clothes that were out of fashion. The problem with not letting go is that you don't allow room for other things to come in. And so over the years, I didn't realize it, but I didn't see that the law of change was taking effect in my life. And we say this, if nothing changes, nothing changes. But I don't think we realize how deep this really goes. It goes to the point where if you don't change your eating habits, there is a law that comes with it. That means that your weight will not change either, right? If you don't change what you say, the law is that what you see and how you behave will not change either. There are laws to life. I want someone to say laws. Because when we look at it as laws, we understand that this is inevitable. So when I throw a ball up, what comes up must come down. The law is that if I eat a lot of fatty food, that I will put weight on. Most likely, unless I've got, medical situations with metabolism. But the law is the more I eat fatty food, is the more fat will begin to show up in parts of my body, right? The law is the more I speak negative over myself, is the more negative things will happen to me. This is the laws, right? This is the laws. I want you to understand that if we do the reverse of the laws and we look at where we're at, we need to study the laws of what it is that we want so we can behave in reverse so that we can get the byproduct of the law. Does that make sense to somebody? So if we understand what comes up must come down, if we want something to come down, what must we do? We must throw something up. If we understand that life and death is in the power of the tongue, Sharon, yes, you first me there, then we have to start speaking life so that we get life. So can you do a reverse psychology on the law? Can you understand the law ahead? They say start with the end in mind. Anybody heard that before? So if you understand the law, you begin to behave differently. But you see, the thing is for me is I taught this stuff. As a leadership coach in the bank, I taught this stuff. So I knew it. How many of you know something but you still don't do it? You know that putting that cake in your mouth is not the right thing to do, but you still put the cake in the mouth. Right? So to know and to not do is to not know at all. So I don't want to say I knew this stuff. I taught this stuff. I studied this stuff. But I wasn't good at the implementation of it. And so this began to leak in my life. Why is this necessary? Because I want you to be able to reverse the law. And in order to reverse it, you got to understand where the root comes from. Where is the root? What's the root that you need to pull up? What's the root that needs to be dug up so that we can reverse this law to be able to get the outcomes that we truly desire? There's something about, the mind. I want to see if I can find it. There's something about the mind that I read, which was so powerful. I want to read it to you. It's something about the law of the seed, right? Was it the law of the seed? Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. This is powerful stuff. All right. And it's all to do with the mind. We know that 97% is about the mind, right? We already know that. It's about the mind, right? There it is. I found it. Your mind is your garden. It is where you grow the fruit that sustains you, and you are the gardener. You must kill the snakes and pull the weeds from your garden. And you choose the flowers that sustain the fragrance. And you must guard your garden relentlessly, ferociously, and victoriously. Powerful. Powerful stuff. So this law of change. Who has the power to change? I don't have the power to change you. I don't have the power to change my mom. I don't have the power to change anybody, but I have the power to change myself. I have the power to change the things that I do on a daily basis. I have the power to change the things that I say on a daily basis. I have the power to change where I go on a daily basis. I have the power to change how I react to information, situations. I have the power to implement this law of change in a way that is going to serve the purpose over my life. And so here I was armed with this information. that I have the power to change things. I have the power to, I can't control anybody else, but I can change me. I want you to decide that today. I can't control anybody else. I can't control what people say or do. I have the power. I have the power. And in fact, I want you to unmute yourself right now, and I want you to say that I have the power. I want you to hear your voice.
I have the power.
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 I have the
the
power.
power.
I have the 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 power.
I have the
I
power.
have the power.
I have the power to change myself.
I have the power.
I have the power. I have the power. I have the power.
I have the power.
I have the power. I have the power to change anything over my life. And so 5-6 years ago, I decided that enough was enough. But you see, sometimes what happens is you make a change, right? And you believe it's just in one area of your life. So you make that change and you fix that area of your life, not realizing that there were certain other areas that these things have seeped into that also need to be uprooted. Does that make sense? Let me give you an example. So you believe, and so many people have heard my story before. A lot of people have heard my story before. When I say, about 5 years ago, I was heavily pregnant with my second daughter, and my baby father just walked out and left me. He was like, listen, I'm leaving. And he left me pregnant. And at the time, all I wanted him to do was to come back, because I didn't know no better. I didn't know 15 years of a relationship. I had no idea that I could be strong enough by myself. Now, prior to that, he was cheating and doing all his stuff, right? And I accepted it because I thought I couldn't get any better. I thought that was the best that I could get. And it was better to be with somebody that you know than to start afresh. I was lazy. I didn't want to start afresh. How many of you have relationships or friendships and you're just like, oh, I don't want to start again. I don't want to go through the meeting new people process. I don't want to have to do that whole trust thing again and build up trust. I was that lazy girl that didn't want to meet anybody new because I just believed that it was just going to be the same old story. I didn't believe that I deserve to be loved in the way that God saw that I deserve to be loved. And so I stayed far much longer than I should have. But then one day the light bulb moment hit and I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I can do this. And you see, so I started to repair the damage for what had happened in that season, not knowing that there were areas in my life where that season had already started to impact. So I began to settle with disrespectful friends. I began to settle with disrespectful partnerships. I began to settle with disrespectful business, situations. I began to allow disrespect in different areas. But I dealt with the first one. And then I met my husband and I'm like, okay, cool. I am healed. That's not how it works, guys. There are different areas in our life where there's different situations that are taking place. And if we don't deal with them, they just carry on. And they keep festering and festering and festering. So what did I have to realize? I had to realize I had to get out of that situation. I want somebody on this call to understand right now that your presence is royalty. Do you understand that you are a king? You are a queen, that having access to you is royalty. The things that you bring to the table, the positive things that you bring to the table, the knowledge, the skill sets that you bring to the table is a privilege to somebody on the receiving end. I bet you didn't think about that, did you? How many of you, hand on heart, know that you are a king and a queen? You are royalty. Because if you knew that you were royal, there's certain things you won't put up with. There's certain situations that you wouldn't allow to keep coming over and over and over again in your life. There's certain disrespectful situations you won't put yourself in. There's certain negative environments you won't put yourself in. You won't have it. When you understand your true worth, and I don't want to go into this because I did an amazing Instagram live today. Instagram tried to cut me off, but I gave 4 tips on raising the bar, because raising the bar is going to be important in this season, guys. You got to raise the bar. What was acceptable last month? What was acceptable last year, last season? That don't wash no more. How many of you know that you let your standards slide? I let my standards slide. I let things slip. I sold myself too cheap. And so when you sell yourself too cheap, guess what happens? People that buy cheap come around. It's the law. If you're selling cheap, the people that buy cheap show up. If you sell high-end, who do you think walks into the Bentley store? Who do you think walks in to the Porsche store? They know who they're targeting, right? I want you to understand the law. We're not getting personal here. This is the law. If you sell yourself cheap, you attract people that buy cheap. Who are you attracting in this season, ladies and gents? Who are the people that you have around you? What are the things that you're accepting in this season? Because I'm putting it down here today, Thursday, the 14th of October, 2021, that the change must come. There must be a change. Now that change can be external, but most of the time it's got to be internal. There's got to be some internal conversations. Some internal conversations that says, okay, we need to refigure this thing out. At what point did you become a control freak? How many control freaks are on here? How many people need to know everything? They want to control everything. My husband said to me, Nikki, do you want me to put the washing machine on? No, I'll sort it. Don't touch the washing machine, baby. It's cool. Trust issues. You see, I thought my trust issues was just relationship-wise. No. It could be as simple as you don't even trust him to turn the washing machine on. What's going on there, girl? You got issues. What's the worst that could happen? Well, he puts the reds in with the whites and everything's pink. How you do anything is how you do everything. And if you fix one thing, you need to make sure that you fix the areas. The trust issues. How far do they go? How deep do they go? I'm being transparent with you here, guys, because I'm a reflector. I like to look at me first. That's what it says. The power. How many of you bought the book? All right. How many of you bought the book? You see, the power is not on what you can tell other people to do. True power is when you can control yourself. True power is when you can help yourself to grow, where you develop the self-confidence, the self-discipline. Are you self-disciplined? Do you say and do what you say you're going to do? That's integrity, isn't it? Are you integral to yourself? Because we seem to rate our integrity by other people. So every time people ask me to do stuff, I always do it. I'm a woman to my word for them. But can you be a woman or a man to your word for yourself? Can you be practicing what you preach? How many of us say your comfort zone's your broke zone? Say that all the time, right? And we say that while sitting in our comfort zone. So we tell others your comfort zone's your broke zone, but we sit in our comfort zone. Those of you promoting your business, you're telling everybody else the left-hand side of money, the right-hand side of money. But you ain't doing much. Are we allowed to be honest on this call? Let's be honest. It's so easy to do this, to point. But can we take it for ourselves? I was on a call with my mentor at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and he said one line, and I just shared it in a few of the groups. And he said, one of the issues with leaders is they consistently pour into a cup despite knowing there's a hole in the cup. Mighty. It hit me. How many of you are pouring into a cup with a hole in it? That's deep, right? Let me give you the tips. Let me give you the tips on change. I said 10 tips. Number 1, change is always proportionate to knowledge. This is loaded. Change is always proportionate to knowledge. What are we talking about? That means that if you don't know something, you can't change towards it. You can only change to what you know. Right? You can't change to something you don't know. You can only change to what you do know. So that means we always have to be in a space and an environment where we're growing, where we're gaining knowledge, because you cannot change something you don't know. You just can't. So it's proportionate to your knowledge. So if you are somebody, I call myself an agent of change, you're somebody who understands success, you will understand that successful people are always bringing in knowledge. They're always reading, they're always taking in new knowledge, because it's the knowledge that will evoke the change. Number 2, pain never produces change. Pain don't produce change. Pain is an indicator. Pain could be your catalyst, but pain don't cause change. How many of you have experienced pain and that still didn't make you change? How many of you look at your bank account and it's painful? How many of you are in friendships that are painful and you still stay there? I was one of them. So pain doesn't necessarily affect change. The next one, number 3, pain produces the desire of change. Has anyone been so hurt where they're like, that's it, enough is enough. I ain't doing that no more. Right, that's it. Spoke to a lady on Instagram. She said, you know, she had bank charges, account was completely wrecked, and it was her child's birthday, and she didn't have, you know, the money to sort out the child's birthday. And that was the catalyst for contacting me. The catalyst for change was the pain that she'd experienced. Pain produces the desire for change. So let's look at the law then. Let's look at it the other way. If you're experiencing pain right now, what does that mean you may have to do? We're going to reverse it. If pain produces the desire of change and you are receiving pain, you are feeling pain in an area of your life, what does that mean? That means there may be a change that's required. Something must change. Next one. Knowledge is the seed for change. Knowledge is a seed for change. So if you really want to change, you got to seek knowledge. You must be somebody that goes out there to get the information, to seek the knowledge from somebody or somewhere, a book or YouTube or somebody that has the information that you don't currently have that's going to allow you to change. I said this on my IG a couple of days ago. If you're somebody that truly desires change, when was the last time you messaged your mentor and asked them these 4 questions? What do I need to do more of? What do I need to do better at? What do I need to do different? And what do I need to stop or let go? Those are the 4 areas that you can change. More, better, different, less, or stop completely. Now, in order to really be deep on this stuff, you got to be receptive for the change. So you don't want to ask the question if you don't want the answer, because that could put you in a tricky situation, right? So you really have to ask yourself, do I really want to change? Because maybe, have you guys ever done this thing, right? I remember when I worked in corporate and they did these questionnaires. One of the managers, they always just do these questionnaires every year, fill out how great the managers are. And one year, the questionnaire wasn't what they wanted, and they pulled us all into a room and made us change the answers. I was like, well, what was the point? What was the point of the questionnaire if you wasn't prepared for the honest truth? They made us change the answers. So if you ask a question, do you really want the answer, or do you want a pat on the back and to be told that everything's going to be all right? Here's the next one. The purpose of knowledge is to create change. And I may be stating the obvious here, guys, but I need to make sure we're all on the same page. The purpose of knowledge is to create change. So when knowledge is given, it's not just for a joke thing. The knowledge is provided so that there can be a change. There can be something that happens on the back of that knowledge, right? That's why the worst thing ever is when you see people go to university for free, 5 years, and they get all this knowledge, and then they're working in McDonald's, or they're working in KFC, or they're working in Taco Bell or Starbucks. Because the knowledge isn't being applied. So the purpose of knowledge is to create change. Here's another one. Time does not create change. Oh. Time doesn't create change. Have you ever heard somebody, normally it's big people them, so time will sort things out? No, it won't. Time will not sort things out. Anyone ever heard anyone say that time will sort things out? In time, just give time. Give what time? More procrastination? You think if you're procrastinating today and you procrastinate tomorrow and then you procrastinate for another 10 years, that anything is going to change? It's a hard truth here tonight, guys. Remember, when I'm telling you, I'm telling myself as well. We're learning together. Time don't create change. Next one. Oh, this is a good one. Need doesn't create change. Need does not produce change. Wow. But I need it. My children need it. I read a post yesterday that says a lot of parents say they'll die for their children. Anyone ever said that? I'll die for my kids. And the post said, well, instead of dying for them, why don't you live for them? They need you to live. That one made me laugh, that did. Don't die for them, live for them. Are you living for your children right now? Are they seeing you as a role model? Need does not produce a change. You could need it all you like. You sit down, I need that six-pack. I got a picture right here. Six-pack, right? Why do I talk about it so much? I talk about my goals all the time so that it seeps in, and eventually, guess what happens? My body rejects the macaroni and cheese. Yeah? You keep saying it over and over again, and eventually you trick yourself into believing that you can do it. How many times have you heard me say my goal to get a six-pack? How many times? Because I don't stop professing, I don't stop speaking about it. Am I perfect? Hell no. I'm looking forward to Sunday. It's my turn to cook. But if I keep saying it over and over again, guess what happens? The paradigm shift. At some point, there has to be a shift taking place. You see, I said it so much, guess what I did? I joined netball. I said it so much, guess what I did? I have a netball in my garden and a hoop, and I'm practicing with my husband. I've got my husband who's so tall defending me. I want to lick him sometime, right? I trick myself. I tell myself this all the time. Need does not produce change. You can need it a little bit more. How many of you need something right now? It ain't making you change. The need don't make you change. Next one, knowledge produces change. I hope you see the pattern. Knowledge produces change. To know and not do is to not know at all, right? So to know and do is what's going to bring you the change. Knowledge brings change. Let me read you this. This is quite funny. The next one. Time does not teach. Time does not teach. Let me read you this. Listen to this. There are 90-year-old sinners and 15-year-old Christians. There are 90-year-old sinners and 15-year-old Christians. What does that mean? Time does not change people. Time does not change. It doesn't. It doesn't teach. Time does not teach. It's knowledge. Knowledge. Time don't teach. Have you ever met, like I know some old Rasta man, and he's got about 20-something kids, and the other day I heard again, he's just had another baby. I'm like, bro, is he not 80 or something? Like, what? I'm like, when is this brother gonna change? Time ain't making him change. Life ain't making him change. This man is just not changing. He is still producing. And man, I don't even think he's working on that. And I'm just like, bro, time don't change people. Here's a good one. Time does not change your wealth. Time does not change your wealth. There are 25-year-old millionaires and 80-year-old paupers. Yes, ma'am. That was number 10. Change, let me read them again. Change is always proportionate to knowledge. Pain never produces change. Pain produces desire for change. Knowledge is the seed for change. The purpose of knowledge is to create change. Time does not create change. Need does not produce change. Knowledge produces change. Time does not teach, and time does not change your wealth. These are the laws of change, guys. The laws of change. Now, I don't have time to go into them on a deep level, all right? And, you know, I'm gonna be going through these laws on different mindset calls throughout the rest of the year. And this is the book, 7 Laws that you must honor. I've given this book out before, to have uncommon success. 7 laws you must honor to have uncommon success. And it's by one of my favorite authors, Mr. Mike Murdoch. 7 laws you must honor. Now, some of you may see us doing boomerangs and screenshots. Why? Because when you boomerang and screenshot books and knowledge, what you do is you show your followers that you're connected and that you're learning and that you're growing. Remember, knowledge is what creates change. And people that are looking to change want to hang around with people that are developing their knowledge. Come on, guys. So those of you that are networkers, which should be everyone on this call, you should be screenshotting this right now. You should be boomeranging this to show the people that follow you that you are increasing your knowledge, that you are connected to a community, a wealth community that is growing. Because remember, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? This is a source, guys. Make sure you tag me in, let me know, right? This is the source right here. If you're not growing, you're dying, real talk. And for those of you that don't understand what it is that we do here, it's about expanding your network, right? Where we do the mind work, the heart work, and the phone work, right? Mr. Mike Murdoch is the author, right? Anytime that you have a chance to do a screenshot or to do a boomerang with a quotation, make sure you do that. Show the people that are following you that you're always growing. Successful people want to be around people that are increasing their knowledge, that are growing. So they are the laws of change. I encourage you guys, right? I encourage you guys. Let me tell you the tips for you to remember. All right. Every life battle is a mind battle. Oh, I don't want to give you no more. Every life battle is a mind battle. Ain't nothing physical. Every battle. There we go. Coachable. Let's go, Rosanna. Every battle. Every life battle is a mind battle. How you choose to handle it. How you choose to think about that situation. How you choose to deal with that situation. Every life battle is a mind battle. And when any circumstance, situation comes to you, you have the power to choose. I encourage you to watch that video on my Instagram. I did it today, guys, around the 4 tips. I was driving my car, Instagram cut me out, and I went back in and I did it again, all right? And it's around the 4 tips that you can do to get your power back. Raising the bar tips is called. Now, why do we need to raise the bar? Why do we need to raise the bar? I want you to understand this saying, because I said it before and I think some people got offended. They didn't really understand what I meant. So let me clarify. When you raise the bar, right, you gain the winners, you lose the losers. When you lower the bar, you lose the winners, you win the losers. Now, what do I mean by losers? I don't mean that people are losers. I love everybody. What I mean is people with a losing mentality. You know, those people that see the glass half empty already? The people that are, already down before they've even given things a go. People that are in a quitter's mentality. Now, we are in an amazing opportunity that the link is not, disrespectful to anybody. So anybody can click the link in the bio. But I am not going to target people with a losing mentality. That's not what I'm about. I am targeting the winners. And so how do I target the winners? I raise the bar. Some of you need to raise the bar in this season because you're attracting losers because your bar's too low. A loser's mentality is what you want to get away from. How do you raise the bar? What is it that you need to do? I want you to type in the chat box for me. What do you need to do in this season to raise the bar? These are questions I ask myself all the time. How can you keep raising the bar, Nikki? How do you attract the level of mindset that you want to connect with, the people that you want to hang around with? How do you raise the bar? How do you start to raise the bar for yourself? What do you need to do? It could be just the way that you speak. It could be your content on social media. Your content is speaking about, I don't know, your content may need to start speaking about a higher level worth of content. Who are you attracting? What kind of things are you talking about? When I do my content, I'm talking to leaders. My content is directed at leaders. What does that mean? That means I want to be around people with leadership skills. Surround yourself with positive, like-minded people. So what does that mean? You may have to take yourself away from some environments. Are you too accessible? Do you sound desperate? Are you just available all the time? Every time your friends go, oh, should we go out? Yeah. The type of friends that I have, we have to plan things because I ain't available. I'm not too available. When people invite me to stuff, I am not available. I don't just go anywhere either. Some of you just go anywhere. Like your presence is just standard. Your presence is just, okay, yeah, they'll be here. When you raise the bar, you get a different respect. Someone was saying to me, Nikki, you know, what do you do when men slide in your DMs? I'm like, I don't have men sliding in my DMs. I don't attract that type of attention. You see me on my Instagram, my titty out the door, my bottom half naked, all of that? No. I don't put myself out there to be getting all them cheesy men say, hey, baby, and all that. I don't get that stuff. And I'm not saying that everybody that does, but I don't think men really, you know, no, I don't get that. So you got to ask yourself, what are you attracting? Even when you're walking down the streets, right? When you're walking down the street, what do you look like? How do you posture yourself? Now, I'm not saying you have the cold face. You got to be friendly and, you know, open. But how do you dress? Do you look like a boss? Or do you look like you just rolled out of bed and you're in a rush? Don't tell me you can't get your hair done once every 2 weeks, ladies. When I look on your social media, do I see a boss? Do I see a woman that takes pride in herself? Or do I see someone that's unorganized, messy? Like one thing I love about Dr. Marcia, every time I see this woman, she just looks on fire. Like on social media, her Instagram lives, just clean. I would do business with her. If she wasn't in the academy, and I wasn't in the academy, I look at her and I'm like, yeah, I would roll with her. Because the way she carries herself, the way that her videos are clean, the content that she has is of a higher level. And it's not just Dr. Marcy, there's others too. I just use her as an example because she's the first one that comes to my head. Would you mentor you? You want to raise the bar for yourself. This ain't about anybody else, it's about yourself. When you think about, you know, the people in our team on social media, who are the ones that are giving you inspiration right now? Is there something that they're doing that you're not? Is there something that they have that you don't, that you can kind of copy? Cross-pollination, we call it. Don't just say, oh, that's just for them. Oh, it's because, you know, that's another law that can damage you, is that, oh, it's because they're more experienced, or it's because they're more confident, or it's because they have more money, or it's because, don't make the excuse. That's the adulthood problem. No. We all have it available. And so I urge you today to write down 5 changes that you are going to make to raise the bar for yourself. Now, I got some changes to raise the bar for myself, and I'm so excited because this is going to be some incredible news for some of you guys on this call, right? And so I'm going to stop the recording right now, and then I'm going to